Um, the whole idea of the leadership is only one step in the process. The process ends when the community stands up, when everybody stands up. We're starting our project with the leadership. We're coming to people like you, who is a leader in your community, and we're trying to make sense to you and give you the hope and the understanding that, yes, we can really push back on this, and it's not an idealistic thing. We can make a huge difference. You have the job of reaching your constituents, your flock, and that has to be done in short order. But any grassroots movement, any effective grassroots movement that works comes from the top and comes from the bottom, but ultimately the power is in the bottom. It's the community reaching out. Now people now say, or realize, we've had enough. We've had enough. Angela's calls day after day, week after week, and year after year. It's a travesty.
So we cannot stop, okay, we cannot put an end to crime, because I am thinking, as long as human beings exist, like the Cain and Abel story that you were talking about before we went on the show, human beings will have that instinct to want to commit crime and certain things, but we can work towards preventing it.
Yes.
We can work towards preventing it, which is exactly what you all are doing, which is, so this idea that you have about overcoming violence and gun violence in approaching the religious leaders, what is this whole mechanism about?
Well, there's good in each of us and bad in each of us. Each of us is capable of love. Each of us is capable of hate.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is to create an atmosphere where the love is more rational to come out, where it's more emotionally sound to come out than the hate. And an example to answer your question is that these young people who commit most of the violence, they have a hopelessness in their community and their upbringing. Even if they proceed with their educations, it's harder for, let's say, a black person, a black youth, to get a job, or to get a really well-paying job. And they drop out of school, they hang out in the streets, they save guns. It's not because they sell guns, it's not because they're bad people. It's because they don't see their lives going anywhere. And so the condition that we want to change, the whole bottom line of this, is to create opportunity, to have young people have a chance to be trained, if they're not good in school, to be trained to do computer work where they can make more in a year than they can selling drugs on the street. And this is possible. It can be done.
So you're saying a lot of the social issues contribute towards gun violence?
Gun violence is the symptom, and the disease is the conditions and the attitudes in basically economically deprived communities.